And it's not a am I the a hole, but I'm kind of saying, am I the a hole for staying out of my sister's wedding?
For background, Stella and I are identical twins. We're both currently 29-year-old sisters and will both be 30 when her wedding comes around this fall. I had her as my maid of honor 8 years ago, and she promised me that I could be hers when her wedding came around. I have 2 daughters, ages 6 and 3. They're the flower girls. My marriage fell apart just over 2 years ago due to a stillbirth and my husband's infidelity. My parents and sister were the only reasons that I didn't drown from the stress, loneliness, and total abandonment of my spouse. I was a total mess. I went to therapy, got diagnosed with bipolar disorder and depression, quit drinking, and I owe a lot of that to my amazing sister. She's the reason why I kept chasing down my ex for child support when he suddenly stopped paying. He had switched from world's best dad to deadbeat moron so quickly that my ex-mother-in-law is disgusted with him. My sister Stella and her fiancé John, who's 35, got engaged last year. His parents are paying for about 60% of the wedding. Our parents are paying 30%. Stella and John are paying for the rest themselves. The biggest caveat is that they must be married in John's family's church, full mass with communion. The family's on board because this is going to be a very big wedding. Tonight, Stella had invited me to dinner as they had finally reserved a date for the church and reception, and I assumed that it was to formally ask me to be her maid of honor. I was excited since I haven't been in a wedding party aside from my own wedding. John was with her, which was weird because Stella didn't mention him coming in all of our texts about the dinner. We hugged like usual, but John didn't, which was weirder. After we got our drinks, they got to it. In a nutshell, John expressed the following. Despite my best efforts to keep it secret, my parents found out that you're divorced when they asked why your husband wasn't coming. They're no longer comfortable with you as the maid of honor because it won't look good to the church if my family hears about the divorce. You can be a bridesmaid, but you can't mention the divorce or your current condition at all during the wedding events. I was stunned, and I felt tears in my eyes. Stella started crying too, and she tried to spin it in a good way. This is way less stressful for you, so it's a good thing. My mother-in-law has already approved my best friend as my maid of honor, so please don't make this any harder. I knew that I couldn't possibly stay there through an entire meal. I had to process this new info alone. I didn't speak. I just paid for my wickedly expensive cocktail and left to order an Uber home. A few hours ago, I texted Stella that I wouldn't be in her wedding party at all. That was my decision. I wouldn't pull my daughters out, but I would only attend as a guest. She would not take this as an answer, so I had to temporarily block her due to her excessive texts and calls. I sent my parents a summary of what happened and promised to call them when I was in better shape tomorrow. Stella thinks that this is a total overreaction. I don't even want to know what John thinks at this point. Please help me. Am I the bad?
Is this real or not, or am I the a-hole? Because, oh my...
It's just one thing, and it was so small and minute, but I knew it was going to trigger to lift and put Jesus out of me. For everybody that's new here, let me tell you certain things that if you want to try to really piss me off, these things. My mother already approved of somebody else. Who the hell are you talking to? You don't approve absolutely nothing in my wedding.
You do if you come from a certain culture and religious background.
You sure do.
I don't. You don't approve. You don't approve anything in my wedding.
You just which is why you wouldn't be in this situation, Mom.
Yeah, especially if you get married in a Catholic church. Oh no, they don't. They find out you divorced. You might as well just sit in that little corner over there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Baptist church, we don't care. You can be married 10 times. Hey, you want to be the baby? Hey, girl, help yourself.
Just don't be gay.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Depending on the church.
Depending on the church.
Yeah, it does depend on what church you go to.
Oh, okay.
Some are
Or be an unwed mother. Don't do that one.
Nah, unwed mothers are too many. Nah, I don't agree with you on unwed.
If you're a underage teenage mother, some of these churches still will sit you down.
Even then, I don't think they care.
I don't even think they doing that anymore.
I don't even think they care anymore.
That was back in the day when we growing up and kids. They did
back in the day.
Back in the day.
Back when I was
like a decade ago?
Like back when I was like 7 or 8 or 9. Like I had one number in my age.
I don't think it says. I don't think that's an issue.
You still hear about it though. Come on, y'all. But anyway, the reason I muted myself was just because this is about that whole religion thing, and I think religion is just such a crock of shit because of what it does to people and what it does to family. Right? This is the Catholic Church. I'm just gonna pick on the Catholic Church right quick.
Well, this was a Catholic Church story, so go for it.
That's what he said because it was mass and all this other stuff. So it's either Catholic or it's Roman evangel. You know what I'm talking about? The Eastern European version.
Greek Orthodox.
Roman Catholic. No, it could be that. But I'm pretty sure it's Roman Catholic or Catholic to do the whole mass thing. But anyway, those are the ones I know of that really, really, really get their draws in a bunch about divorce. Well, these are the same things, and you can pick any denomination or sect. They all got issues with molesting children, molesting women. But you draw the line at divorced people, screw you. And then the thing about the sister situation is the sister who was told, hey, because of the religious aspect or the social, whatever the rules are of this church, we need you to not be this particular role. That was foul, but that's the family dynamic that she's marrying into, and that's the religious culture or structure that she's agreed to walk into. So that's y'all's marriage. And whatever you do with y'all's marriage to make your marriage work, then that's what it's going to be. And what you need to understand is, since you've made this decision for your life, there will be collateral damage. And with that collateral damage is what's happening to your sister, is what's happening to a lot of the other things that are going to be happening around you. So I hope you're going into this marriage with your eyes wide open, because this is the life you're going into. Now, if you look at that and you say, I love him just that much that I can work through this, or, which we didn't really get into, or I actually agree with some of the roles and structures of the religion and faith that my husband has that I'm going into. If that's your thing, like I said, own it, and there's going to be collateral damage. And in this case, that's your sister. And your sister made the only responsible decision that she could make. So that's why I'm mad at you for calling your sister. Your sister said, okay, I'm not pulling the girls out because this ain't about the girls. I'm going to let them continue to play their role. But I cannot sit here and stand up in front of everybody knowing that you have judged me on this earth. You are judging me and casting me out into another role. And you want me to stand up there and look out at these people who are judging me for something they have no knowledge or control of. So I'm going to be responsible about this, and I'm going to still be here for my sister, but I'm going to do it from the pews. Right. That to me is like the most fair. She didn't even have to be fair. And yet she's trying to be fair. So why are you blowing your sisters? You spoiled and you're weak.
Yep, she sure is weak.
You're spoiled because you want your sister to do what you want her to do, no matter how she feels or how it impacts her. And you're weak because you can't push up against your soon-to-be mother-in-law and your husband. And your husband's weak because he done grew up in this jacked-up religion or whatever, and he's scared to go up against his mother and his religion. So take your weak, spoiled ass on.
I'm gonna have to say this. I agree with this.
I agree with this.
I mean, this is the second time in one show we all four
agreed on something. Second time in one show we all agree. All right, let's move on. We ain't got but 7 more minutes, 8 more minutes. Doggone it.
I
We all fell
refuse.
for it.
Oh God! As soon as I did that, I could hear Anna going, "I hate you, but I love you, but I hate you."